Hello everyone, this is Priyasha from XAT, and in this video we are going to discuss the last 10 days strategy for your XAT examination. Now there's not some magical wand I'm going to turn and say, okay, now you people know everything. No, it's the most practical way of sorting out the last 10 days so that you people do not have difficulty in the examination. Look, there are two things to be kept in mind. One, which you know the answer of, you directly answer. And the second kind of category of questions are where you make an educated guess. And the third category is where you do Jai Mata Di or you do Inky Pinky Ponky and you select the options. अब मेरे सामने इतना formality दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है that in case just don't tell me that, oh no, I never do this in the exam. Okay, everyone does this. At least in one question, you will go and do Inky Pinky Ponky and select one option. Okay, so be honest here. So just wanted to tell you here that this last 10 days will help you to bridge that gap and jump from that Inky Pinky Ponky zone to the zone where you can either make an educated guess or you can actually answer the questions. Okay, so we're gonna decide that, but based on four different factors. Okay, right now I have four category of people with me. The DMs which I am getting and the problems which I am solving in the messages for everyone gives me a bright idea of people who are in four different categories. So you categorize yourself accordingly. I'm writing down the categories for you people. The first category which I see is category number one I name, which is the people who have a score of more than 29 in their mocks. The ones who are scoring greater than 29, and even one of the mocks they touched 29 or more than 29. Some have also touched 40. I'm like, wow, extremely well. Okay, they are again doubting their own self. Okay, they are asking me that is this institute's mocks very easy? And I'm like, congratulations first of all, and stop doubting yourself. You actually did good, and that's why you got this high score. So those who got 29 above, how are you people going to utilize the next 10 days for preparation? Please have a look. Then we'll have another category that will be category two, where I'll discuss the ones who are scoring more than 20 and less than let's say I just went, yeah, less than 29. Okay, so this one is the category 2. Category 3 are the folks who are scoring less than 20. So for you people also, I'll be telling you specifically different. And for category 4, let me tell you, category 4 is a special category which is somewhere in the between of 1, 2, and 3. Why? I'll tell you. This is the one which is either having a highly fluctuating score in their mocks, like a score of with a difference of more than 8 marks. Okay. For example, in one of the exams, you touched 28, then you touched 20, then you touched 4. If it's fluctuating the hell like this, more than 8 marks of fluctuation, or the ones who are facing blackouts during the examination or during the mocks, they feel like they are going blank and they can't remember or recall anything. Those category will be discussed separately in the like in this video. That is category number 4. So I'll start off with category number 1, and I'll tell you how are you going to prepare for the next 10 days. The daily schedule is what I'm going to tell you, a general daily schedule, a minimum, and then you can maximize it up to the limits you can. That means someone is a student, so they have more than 10 hours a day to study, but someone is a working professional or someone has a self-owned business or some housework to do, so they cannot put in 10 hours, they can only put in 5 hours, 4 hours. So I am taking a minimum, or I am demanding a minimum of 4 hours preparation from you people. So I expect that you people would be giving me that at least in the last 10 days. So starting off with the VA section. Okay, I'll also tell you what to do if one of your sections is stronger and one of your sections is weaker. So for the VA section, I want you to dedicate 45 minutes to the CR questions. Now, what does that mean? That means you have to do 15 questions minimum in 30 minutes, and then you have to dedicate the next 15 minutes for the analysis that where did you went wrong. This is the minimum, base minimum I demand from all the category 1 folks to do minimum 15 questions of CR a day. which you need to finish in 30 minutes, and then spend the next 15 minutes analyzing your mistakes. Where did you go wrong? The second will be next 45 minutes for RCs, where in RCs I demand you to do at least 3 RCs in 30 minutes, and the same thing, okay, that you have to analyze the places where you went wrong. Okay, this is what is making 1.5 hours of verbal and then 30 minutes of grammar. Now, the ones who have, I'm just writing VA so that it's verbal ability for you. Now, what are you people going to do? The ones who have already visited the PYQs will go and check the material which I have shared on Telegram. I'll specifically guide you what all things you have to see. You have to go to the material there and just search for the things which come in the exam. The major things coming in the exam is error detection. Okay, the major things coming in the examination is fill in the blanks, close test, and things like that. So search for that topic and solve 15-20 questions from that topic every day within 30 minutes. And the ones who have not done the PYQs yet, please refer to the PYQs first. So the first step is PYQs, and if you have already finished the PYQs, then go by the material which I have. So PYQ or the material shared on Telegram. And the questions can range from any number starting with 20 to any big number. Okay. You have to solve at least 20 questions in 30 minutes. Now, this makes a full total of 2 hours if you see. So, this is minimum which I need from your end. Minimum of 2 hours dedicated to the verbal section. Now, if I go to the quant section, I'm going to make a division for you guys. And please understand when I say note making, it is not just reading through the answers. When I say that I want you to do 1 hour, one topic of quants in which you are expected to do at least 30 questions practice by note making process, I mean that you first read the question. Step number one, everyone should make a note of it. Step number one, you should read the question. Step number two, you should, after reading the question, your agenda should be that you will try it yourself. Just give yourself 40 seconds, okay? If you are not able to understand or do it in 40-50 seconds, just go and read the solution. Read the solution, see what is the approach, what they divided, what they multiplied. Just look at it. And once you get the approach, don't even think of skipping this step, which is solving on your own. Use your own fingers and your rough sheet to do the simple calculation you see on the paper. Like if the question is or the process is to divide 29 by 16, don't skip it just because you are like, ah, ठीक है मैं समझ गया. No, this is the wrong attitude of solving the questions and will take you nowhere, nowhere. So it's very important that you solve it with your own fingers, okay? Solve it yourself and that makes the complete procedure. अब इन 4 steps को follow करते हुए अगर आप minimum 30 questions एक topic से 1 घंटे के अंदर भी बनाते हो, that gives you a very deep insight into what this chapter is all about. And why am I asking you to do this? If at all in the examination you are not able to find out the correct answer, at least you will be somewhere in the middle of the process, that is middle of solving the question, and that will be making an educated guess on something. Like gamble सभी करते हैं, but कुछ लोग सोच समझ के करते हैं, कुछ लोग ट्रेंड फॉलो करके करते हैं, just like we do in the stock market. So over here we have to make sure that we are also doing the same thing. This kind of a process for all the topics would really help you to finish up or have a quick idea about everything, so that when you are making a guess also, that should be a serious educated one. So 1 hour one topic and then 2 hours two topic. Okay, so second hour will be for the second topic of QA, which you will do, and you will do minimum 30 questions from it. Okay, that way you will be spending another 2 hours in the quant section. And for your DM section, the ones who have already done PYQs, no problem. Listen, that PYQs are the best source of DM because you are not going to understand anything out of it. You are only going to follow the trend in these type of questions. So जिन्होंने note making नहीं की है, they strictly are expected to do note making. Every day you are expected to do one paper, and that should start with XAT 2022 and go up to 2016. Okay, finish these 7 papers minimum, one paper each day, 21 questions, 1 hour. Read through the answers and try to write down points that why is option A wrong? Why is option B wrong? Why is option C correct? Like this. Just give yourself some reasons, okay? Don't wait for anyone. Just give yourself some reasons so that you are able to predict a or forecast a trend here, okay? That's all. So this makes again 1 hour. Now you see that total of 5 hours is what I expect from the ones who are in category one, scoring more than 29, and that is something I expect from everyone. This is bare minimum. Now, if you are able to put in more hours, just extend over it. That means you can give 2.5 hours to verbal, 3 hours to quant. That depends upon your capability or the time frame you have. Okay, I have no control over it, so I'm just giving you a bare minimum to complete. And thus, one more thing which I would like to add here is that for the ones who are having quant as weaker section, DM as weaker section, or VA as the weaker section, you just need to multiply 1.5 to what I have asked you to do over here right now. That means if I have asked you that you're expected to do the quants for 2 hours, just multiply it with 1.5 and do it for the additional point of like 3 hours. Do it for 3 hours now. So just double, not double exactly, but 1.5 times of what I've asked you to do in the current situation. That will help you a lot in, focusing on the things in which you are good at. Okay. And especially for the ones I have, this is a slight difference between the category one and other category people. I am asking you to do 1.5 times in the sections where you are weak. Okay, this I will not say to others, okay, but I will say this to you because you are already at a position which is fairly good. Now, if you just focus a little more on the weaker section, maybe you can crack the 40 marks criteria also. Okay, so this is for you, only for you. Now, if I come to category 2, for category 2, this remains the same. That means 45 minutes of CR, 45 minutes of RC, 30 minutes of VA, making a minimum of 2 hours, number of questions, everything remains the same. For the quant also, you are expected to do it this way, but with a slight change. Okay. What I want you people to do is, see, you people are like a very, difficult category to handle because you are like, if you go to the extent of maximizing your score by attempting more number of questions, sometimes in some mocks you will feel that you are going negative, and at the same time, some mocks you will feel that you are able to cut through questions. So at this point of time, it becomes slightly important for you folks to bridge the gap between that 20 to 29 and more than 29 standards. How will you bridge the gap? Of course, you will do it all the way, things like this, like quant like this, verbal like this, DM like this, everything will remain same as category one. So I can even write it for you people that same as one. But the problem with you people is that the only reason why you folks are not able to cross that 29 barrier is because of the retention or recalling power. So you guys have to work on your recalling power. And how will you do that? I will demand 1.5 hours additional from you people, apart from one, like the ones who are in category one. And how are we going to divide this 1.5 hours? What we are going to do is we are going to separate 30 minutes, 30 minutes, and 30 minutes for three sections. And we are going to use a rough sheet or a paper where I'll start jotting down everything I learned in the day. That means if I sit 30 minutes for the verbal section, I have learned 2 hours in the verbal section, various things. Okay, I have learned CR, I have learned RC, I have learned VA. Now my job in the last 30 minutes will be to write down मुझे क्या क्या याद है, जो भी मैंने पढ़ा था, मैंने कहाँ गलती की थी, मैंने जो सही किया था, वो भी अगर आपको याद है तो you can write it down in your own keywords. You are not going to read it out aloud in front of people. Okay, so be honest with yourself, write in your own language, no problem. Okay, and whatever you want to write, I mean, whatever you remember out of what you learned, write it down in keywords. Write that you read a passage about psychiatrist who was treating someone, and you thought that this would be the answer, but this came out to be the answer. Just like writing a story, it will also help you in your essay writing and GDPI round process, and it will also help you in your English fluency. So if at all you have to work on your fluency, some people were asking me this in the comment section. Please do these kind of activities in English with yourself. That also reduces the dependency of talking to someone else in English. तो ये सारी चीजें खुद से इंग्लिश में कीजिए. That will be really effective. And keep reminding yourself whatever you learned. Now, then check that if you're able to even recall 60% of what you did in the day, you are in a good place. Okay. And if you're not able to recall 60%, then you have to work a little harder while preparing or while solving the questions during the day. You have to make sure that you have to pay more attention and try to retain the information. Yaad rakhna is more important than practice karna in these type of examinations. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So the category 2 people are going to do the similar activities as I said for category 1, provided you have to put in 1.5 hours every day extra for the retention period, okay, to check your retention power. Now I'm going to talk about category 3 folks who are scoring less than 20. For you people, you know that you're working on the margins right now, because less than 20 is something which might affect your sectional scores as well. That means you're not just focusing on clearing the overall cutoff, but you're also struggling in clearing the sectional cutoffs. So for you people, the story is slightly different. I would not say that you have to go through the process of category 1 and category 2. The number of questions and things can remain the same, but I want you to do a quick analysis of your last mock. Now, in your last mock, what was your score? Take that out. What were the sections or the chapters which you did right, like whose questions were right? Or if you haven't given any mock, give a previous year paper as a mock and see that out of the given questions in VA, like see, in VA you have certain number of questions in the RC, certain number of questions in CR, and certain number of questions in the verbal ability part. Now, out of it, if I say that out of RC, let's say that I got 4 correct out of, let's say 24 questions, or not 24, 12 questions of RCs. I got 4 correct. So this ratio is 1 by 3, and that is 33.33%. Similarly, in the CR questions, let's say that the CR direct questions are 8 in number. So in the 8 questions of CR, I have done 4 correct. Okay. So that means I have a ratio of 50% over here. And in the VA questions, let's say we have 6 questions of VA. So out of the 6 questions, to keep the number easy, I have kept 2 correct only. That is 1 by 3 again, 33.33%. So when you do a self-analysis like this, you will understand that the section in which you are doing extremely well in verbal is CR. So what are you going to do? The major purpose for doing this analysis is to understand आप कहाँ सबसे अच्छा कर रहे हो. And for the folks who are scoring less than 20, I would not suggest you people to, work on your weaker section now. Same for session, I mean category 2. I just missed out saying this at the end, that this was to focus on the weaker part, category 1. But for the category 2, you have to do 1.5x for the topics in which you are strong. Okay, and the same process goes to the third category people also, that while you're doing this division of 2 hours, you have to give the maximum time, like 1 hour 15 minutes minimum to the CR section, and the remaining time you can divide between VA section, that is 45 minutes. Okay, you can divide it as 30, 15, you can divide it as any way, 20, 25, your choice. Okay, but then give the major part of your time to the areas where you're already doing good. Now this will help you to get a stronger hold and maximize or book a seat for yourself, okay, to be very honest. So therefore this is the category, or this is the process which you should follow. The number of questions doing can be changed accordingly depending upon the time you are spending. At the same time, in the QA part, I don't expect you to do 2 topics a day. I expect you to do only 1 topic a day, and that too 60 questions from that topic in the given time period of, let's say, 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever you are comfortable in. Okay. Now, why am I saying this? And which will be that 1 topic? Again, analyze your mock and see what are the 8 Okay, suppose you got 8 questions correct in the previous mock. Okay, so find out all those 8 chapters, or if they are repeated, find out those 6 chapters in which you got the questions correct in, and start focusing on that chapter only. Don't have to touch everything. Just go and start focusing on those topics. Okay, focus on those topics. Don't leave any topic. I've always told you that read through the formulas at least from that topic so that you're able to make an educated guess. But yeah, focus more on the topics where you're able to score, okay, and that will really make a change. And then when we come to DM section, it remains the same for everyone, okay, same that papers 2022 to 16. Now something which is exceptional for the category 3 people is the retention period. Again, for the retention period, what will I expect you people to do in the retention period? Every day, you are expected to give 45 minutes, 45 minutes, and 45 minutes each in the retention duration, in which you will try to recall whatever you learned. 15 minutes extra because I want you people to be best in what you are already good at. So, from the good category to the best category, you have to move because you know that अगर आपने यहाँ पर भी score नहीं किया, then it will be a difficult situation for you in the examination. तो जिस चीज में आप अच्छे हो उसमें आपको बेस्ट होना है, एंड फॉर दैट रिटेंशन इज द बेस्ट थिंग यू कैन अप्लाई इन. नाउ coming to the last and the most important category, honestly, the category number 4. People struggle here. The reason here is that you sometimes touched a high mark, then went in negative, then you came to a mediocre position. This kind of a fluctuation happens because you are not, able to remember the things you learn. The only reason behind this is you're not able to retain things. So follow category 3. Your preparation will be same as category 3, that you have to also work on the areas where you are strong in. And again, at the end you can do 1.5 times of the areas where you're strong in. If you believe that you are strong in verbal compared to quants, 1.5 times, that is 3 hours for verbal and 2 hours for quant. Like this, you can increase the time. And for category 4 people also, all the procedures same to be followed as category 3. But for you guys, along with everyday retention period, you guys are going to do it every 3 days as well. This retention period. What is every 3 days? That means whatever you learned for day 1, day 2, and day 3, day 4, your day 4 should be something where you will put in 3 hours, 1 hour each for every section, and will make notes of whatever you learned in the last 3 days. It's a time taking process, but if you do this, you are actually doing justice to your 3 days of preparation. At least you are trying to recall कि आपको कितना याद है. And as I said, if you are able to recall at least 60% also, you are in a very good position, and it looks like whatever you have learned before also would be able to apply it during the examination day. बुरा उस वक्त लगता है जब आपको चीजें पता होती है, जब क्वेश्चन देखकर आपको लगता है कि okay, I know this, but then you are not able to solve it. So this is more, harmful for your mental health. So remember that this kind of a retention period would really help you to recall whatever you have learned. ठीक है, जो बिल्कुल नहीं सॉल्व किया या जो बिल्कुल नहीं पता वो तो सॉल्व नहीं ही कर पाएंगे. And this is not an examination to score 100 out of 100. This is an examination where only doing half the number of questions will take you to the desired college. So therefore, focus on the areas where you're good at. Okay. And that's all for this video, guys. If you liked it, you know what to do. You have to like and comment below, and also share this video, which is the must for you people, because only by sharing I'll be able to reach more number of people, and they will be aware of the fact that there's something called XAT, which helps people free of cost. Thank you so much. And the ones who have joined new, please subscribe to the channel before leaving. And you can also press the bell icon to be notified about all the new upcoming videos. Thank you so much. Take care and all the very best.